2026 is coming, and it's already shaping up to be one of the best years of all time. Nobody likes wasting money, and these open-world games need to be in your 2026 wishlist. You can bet on it. I'm confident they'll be worth every single penny. I've picked 18 games that are going to take over your entire 2026. Let's get into the list. The Blood of Dawnwalker is one of those projects that just looks too good to be true, but every time I see new footage, I get goosebumps. We're talking about an open-world RPG that feels like a dark, gritty evolution of the classic high fantasy tropes. The scale of the world is what really grabs me. It's not just big, it looks dense with actual lore and verticality. The gameplay seems to be leaning into a very fluid, almost dance-like combat system, but with a real weight to the strikes. I'm a sucker for dynamic world mechanics, and Dawnwalker promises a world that reacts to the bloodline you choose at the start. The protagonist isn't just a blank slate, they are tied to this ancient curse, and the moral choices look like they'll actually ruin your sleep. What I'm most hyped about is the atmosphere. It has this eerie, calm before the storm vibe that reminds me of the best parts of The Witcher. If there's one thing I'm worried about, it's the polish. Open worlds this ambitious can be janky at launch, but the vision here is so strong I'm willing to gamble. This is 100% a day one purchase for me. 2. Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay, let's be real. The king is coming back. Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't just a game, it's a cultural event. After waiting over a decade, we're finally heading back to Vice City, and the detail in the trailers is just, it's stupid. The way the water looks, the sheer density of the crowds on the beach, the social media satire, it's Rockstar at the absolute peak of their game. The gameplay looks to be evolving that dual protagonist system with Lucia and Jason. I love the Bonnie and Clyde vibe they're going for. It makes the story feel much more intimate and grounded compared to the craziness of GTA 5. The world is going to be massive, covering more than just the neon streets of Vice City. We're talking swamps, rural towns, the whole Leonida experience. My only fear, if you can call it that, is the wait for the PC version. But for console players, this is the reason you own a PS5 or Series X. I'm expecting the most immersive living world ever created. The AI, the physics, the sheer amount of things to do, it's going to set the bar for the next 10 years. Worth every penny? It's probably worth 10 times that. Number 3, Crimson Desert. Every time I see Crimson Desert, I have to remind myself it's an actual game and not a pre-rendered movie. This began as a spin-off, but transformed into a massive single-player epic. The gameplay looks like a fever dream of everything I love. It has the combat of a high-end action game, the exploration of Zelda, and the cinematic weight of Red Dead. You can literally suplex enemies and then hop on a dragon to fly across the map. You play as Macduff, a mercenary leader, and the story seems way more grimdark and mature than I expected. The world of Pywell looks absolutely brutal, snow-covered mountains that actually make you feel cold, and bustling cities that feel lived in. I love that the combat isn't just button mashing. It looks technical with grapples and environmental kills. One thing I'm keeping an eye on is the UI. Sometimes these massive Korean RPGs can get a bit cluttered with icons and menus, but the pure fun factor looks off the charts. If the final game delivers even 80% of what they've shown in the demos, it's going to be a masterpiece. It's a bold, ambitious, and visually jaw-dropping open world. 4. Mortal Shell 2. The first Mortal Shell was a tight AA Souls-like that punched way above its weight class, but Mortal Shell 2 is looking like a full-blown open-world monster. The original hook of possessing different shells of fallen warriors is back, but now it's set in a much more expansive, non-linear world. The sense of mystery in this franchise is top tier. It doesn't hold your hand, and the lore is hidden in the environment. The gameplay is slow, deliberate, and incredibly punishing.
The hardening mechanic, where you turn into stone to tank a hit, is still the most satisfying defensive move in the genre. In the sequel, the world looks much more varied, moving away from just dark swamps to some truly alien-looking landscapes. The boss designs are already giving me nightmares in the best way possible. My only concern is if the openness of the world dilutes that tight, claustrophobic tension the first game had. But honestly, the developers proved they know how to make a rewarding combat loop. For anyone who thinks Elden Ring was just the beginning of open-world Souls-likes, Mortal Shell 2 is going to be your new obsession. It's dark, it's clunky in a heavy, satisfying way, and it's gorgeous. 5. The Sinking City 2. Man, the first game had such a cool atmosphere, but was a bit rough around the edges, right? Well, The Sinking City 2 is looking to fix all of that. They've ditched the semi-open investigation style for a full-blown open-world survival horror experience, and it's being built on Unreal Engine 5. The city of Arkham is literally drowning, and the Lovecraftian vibes are just, man, they're suffocating in the best way possible. The gameplay is leaning way harder into combat and survival this time. You're scavenging for supplies in a city that's rotting from the inside out. I love that the water isn't just a visual thing, it changes how you navigate the world. The monsters look absolutely grotesque. Think slimy, many-limbed nightmares that actually make you want to turn the lights off. It's gritty, wet, and deeply unsettling. If I have one concern, it's that I hope they didn't lose that detective soul that made the first one unique, but the devs say the mystery is still there, just more dangerous. If you're a fan of Resident Evil-style resource management, but want a massive rain-soaked city to explore, this is going to be worth every cent. It's dark, it's ambitious, and it's gonna be a total mood. 6. Horizon Steel Frontiers. Guerrilla is taking a massive leap with Horizon Steel Frontiers. We've spent 2 games in the lush wilds, but this one is taking us to a new, much more industrialized and metallic frontier. The world is perfect because it balances that beautiful nature we love with these massive crumbling old world megastructures that are just staggering in scale. The verticality here is supposed to be insane. The gameplay is being refined to feel much faster. Eloy has some new mobility tools that look like they've been ripped straight out of a high-octane action movie. And the machines? Man, the new steel variants look terrifying, faster, more aggressive, and covered in plating that actually requires tactical dismantling. The protagonist's journey is getting much more political too, as she deals with new tribes that have mastered old-world tech in ways we haven't seen yet. My only wait and see is how they handle the open-world activities. I don't want just another map full of icons, but Guerrilla has earned our trust. The visuals alone will probably be enough to melt our consoles. It's a stunning, high-stakes evolution of the franchise that feels like it's finally letting the sci-fi side of the story truly explode. 7. Dune Awakening. I've been waiting for a game that truly captures the scale of Arrakis, and Dune Awakening is looking like the real deal. This is an open-world survival craft game, but on a massive AAA scale. You start as nobody in the middle of the desert and have to survive the heat, the sandstorms, and of course, the Shai Hulud. Seeing a sandworm break through the dunes in real time while you're trying to mine spice is just... it's peak gaming tension. The gameplay is all about the spice must flow loop. You build bases, fly ornithopters, and engage in massive combined arms battles for spice blows. I love that the map actually changes. Coriolis storms periodically shift the dunes, uncovering new secrets and burying old ones. It makes the open world feel alive and unpredictable. The social systems look deep too, with factions and political scheming that feel right out of the books. One thing to watch out for is the survival grind. Dune can be a harsh setting, and I hope it's more fun challenge than chore. But the chance to live my own Fremen story, I'm all in. It's a massive, sand-blasted epic that looks visually incredible. If you're a fan of the movies or the books, this is your 2026 must-play. 8. Phantom Blade Zero. Alright, let's talk about the game that looks like John Wick joined a samurai movie. Phantom Blade Zero is Kung Fu Punk, and it is absolutely electric. The world is semi-open, but the density of the combat encounters is what sets it apart. The world building blends traditional Chinese martial arts with steampunk and occult elements, creating a vibe I've literally never seen before. The gameplay is the star here. It's lightning fast. We're talking about blink and you'll miss it swordplay that looks like a choreographed movie scene. The protagonist, Soul, is a dark, brooding, elite assassin on a quest for revenge with only 66 days to live. That ticking clock adds so much urgency to the story. The bosses look like they've walked out of a fever dream, massive, intimidating, and requiring perfect parry timing. My only concern is how the open parts of the world will feel compared to the tight, scripted Yukin combat. If they can maintain that flow in a large environment, we're looking at a game changer. It's stylish, it's brutal, and it's unapologetically cool. This is the kind of game that makes you feel like a god when you finally master the combos. Definitely worth the investment.
9. Sea of Remnants. If you ever wanted to play a game that feels like a beautiful, dark fairy tale on the high seas, Sea of Remnants is the one. Developed by Joker Studio, the geniuses behind Identity V, this ocean adventure RPG is just stunning. You play as a puppet folk sailor who's lost his memory, waking up in a world called Orbtopia. The art style is so unique. It has this tactile, puppet-like aesthetic that makes the characters feel alive in a way I haven't seen before. The gameplay is a wild mix. You've got open-world sailing, real-time naval combat against sea monsters, and then tactical turn-based battles when you're exploring islands. I love that you can recruit a crew of over 300 eccentric characters, each with their own personality. The world is perfect because it actually feels like a living seascape. You're not just sailing from point A to B, you're investigating memory currents, ruins, and shifting islands that reveal secrets of the past. My only concern is the free-to-play aspect. I really hope the monetization doesn't get in the way of that incredible exploration. But the vibe of sailing to the edge of the world to find out who you are, that's peak RPG territory. It's mysterious, it's gorgeous, and it looks like a seafaring epic that'll keep us hooked for months. Number 10. ArcheAge Chronicles. Previously known as ArcheAge 2, ArcheAge Chronicles is a massive evolution for the franchise. It's moving away from the hardcore MMO tag and calling itself an online action RPG. Set 50 years after the original, the world of Aurora is being built in Unreal Engine 5, and man, it shows. The vistas are staggering. It captures that feeling of a new world waiting to be conquered, where player-driven housing and farming are still core to the experience. The gameplay has been totally revamped to be more dynamic and action-oriented. We're talking about Souls-like inspired combat in a massive world. The focus is on smaller, more personal stories within the larger landscape, which I think is a smart move. But don't worry, the trade routes and naval combat that made the first game legendary are still there. Building your own ship and defending your cargo from pirates while navigating a zoneless world is still the dream. My only worry is the balance between the action RPG elements and the MMO roots. I hope the social side doesn't get lost. But if you want a game where you can literally build a life, a home, and a reputation in a gorgeous high fantasy world, this is a must-play for summer 2026. It looks like the ultimate Second Life game. 11. LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Forget everything you know about previous LEGO games.
LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is an absolute beast. TT Games is basically doing for Batman what they did for Star Wars in the Skywalker saga, but even bigger. We're getting a fully open-world Gotham City that is allegedly bigger than Arkham Knight's map. You can grapple, glide, or drive the Batmobile anywhere, and it's packed with iconic spots like Arkham Asylum in Ace Chemicals. The gameplay features a completely reimagined combat system. It's more fluid, combining combos, stealth, and actual detective skills. The story is a love letter to Batman's history, starting with Bruce Wayne's origins and moving through his entire career. You'll be facing off against the Joker, Penguin, Bane, the whole Rogues Gallery. Plus, the ability to play as the entire Bat family with their own unique gadgets is a huge plus for co-op fans. Some might think it's just a LEGO game, but the technical specs are actually pretty demanding. They are pushing the lighting and detail to the limit. It's got that signature humor, sure, but it looks like a genuinely deep Batman experience. If you've been craving a new open-world Gotham to explore while wearing a 1989 movie skin or a Batman Beyond suit, this is going to be worth every penny on May 29th, 2026.
12. Fable. Albion is finally back. The Fable reboot from Playground Games, the Forza Horizon devs, is shaping up to be the most beautiful fantasy world we've ever seen. Built on the Forza Tech engine, the lighting and the English countryside vibe are just perfect. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, maintaining that classic British wit and mockumentary style we saw in the trailers with Humphrey and Dave the Giant. The gameplay is a third-person action RPG that leans into player choice. You can be a noble hero or a total jerk, and the world and your appearance will react to it. The combat looks fast, blending swords, bows, and flashy fireball magic. But the perfect part of the open world is the interaction, kicking chickens, wafting through taverns, and dealing with the consequences of your social reputation. It's that rare RPG where being a nobody is just as fun as slaying legendary beasts. The only concern is if the combat depth matches the incredible visuals, but with the help of the Eidos Montreal team, I'm confident the action will be tight. It's a whimsical, dark, and hilarious journey that's been over a decade in the making. Albion has never looked this good, and I cannot wait to see what kind of hero or villain I end up being in 2026. 13. Beast of Reincarnation. If you told me the studio behind Pokémon was making a gritty post-apocalyptic samurai game inspired by Princess Mononoke, I'd say you're dreaming. But Beast of Reincarnation is Game Freak's first massive AAA pivot, and man, it looks stunning. Set in a year 4026, you play as Emma, an outcast blighted one, traversing a Japan reclaimed by nature and corrupted by a mysterious rot. The gameplay is a one-person, one-dog action RPG that looks incredibly technical. Think Sekiro meets Black Myth Wukong. You're using a lightweight katana to parry and slash through mutated beasts and ancient mechs. But the best part, your dog, Ku. He's not just for pets, he's integral to combat and traversal, and your bond with him literally unlocks new powers. The world is perfect because it's ever-changing. Forests can suddenly erupt in the middle of a wasteland, forcing you to adapt on the fly. My only nervous thought is seeing how Game Freak handles this level of graphical fidelity and Souls-like difficulty for the first time. But the art style? It's pure Ghibli meets cyberpunk magic. It's an ambitious, soulful, and beautiful journey that proves this studio has way more up its sleeve than we thought. 14 is Tides of Annihilation, and honestly, the trailers for this one left me speechless. It's a new weird fantasy set in a modern-day London that's been fractured by an otherworldly invasion. You play as Gwendolyn, a lone survivor trying to find the Holy Grail in a city where reality and Arthurian legend are bleeding into each other. It's like Nier Automata crashed into a King Arthur movie in the middle of Piccadilly Circus.
The gameplay is built around the dual frontline battle system. You aren't fighting alone, you summon spectral forms of the Knights of the Round Table to pull off massive, flashy combos. You can literally switch between Gwendolyn and a knight like Sir Lamorak mid-attack to shatter reality. The world is perfect because of its scale. There are colossal knights roaming the city that aren't just bosses, they're moving vertical levels you have to scale and explore. It's being built by a team of veterans from Yakuza and Assassin's Creed, so you know the world building is going to be top tier. My only concern is if the combat gets too chaotic with all the dimension-shattering effects, but the sheer visual spectacle is worth the admission price alone. It's stylish, atmospheric, and incredibly original. 15. Gothic 1 Remake. And finally, we're ending with the return of a cult legend, Gothic 1 Remake. If you're tired of open worlds that hold your hand with 500 map icons, this is for you. Set in the Valley of the Mines, a prison colony surrounded by a magical barrier, the world is brutal, lawless, and cares absolutely zero about your feelings. You start as a nameless hero who is basically at the bottom of the food chain, and you have to earn every bit of respect you get. The gameplay stays true to that hardcore RPG soul, but with modern UE5 visuals and combat. It's a simulation-heavy world where NPCs have daily routines, and creatures react dynamically to your presence. The perfect part of this open world is the atmosphere. It feels dangerous, gritty, and alive. You have to choose a faction to survive, and those choices actually matter. It's a dark fantasy experience that respects your intelligence and challenges your grit. My only tiny worry is if the clunkiness of the original, which some fans loved, was polished too much. But from what I've seen in the demos, they've kept that unforgiving edge that made the original a classic. It's a massive, handcrafted RPG that reminds us why we fell in love with this genre in the first place. This is a day one buy for any true RPG fan. And that's the list, guys. 15 open-world games that are set to take over our lives in 2026. Whether it's the neon crime of GTA 6, the fast-paced martial arts of Phantom Blade Zero, or the survival tension of Dune, 2026 is looking like a year where we'll never want to leave our rooms. But hey, that's just my 2026 wish list. Which of these are you most hyped for? Are you a day one in Vice City person, or are you waiting to see what Game Freak can do with Beast of Reincarnation? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I'm curious to see which ones caught your eye.